This is going to go right.
I figured you would, since you actually commented on those, I was like, I'm going to make a sword too.
That's so rad.
I think it'll be fine. If I might ask you for it later.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Everything's good?
Yeah.
Good. Everything's well with you guys?
Yeah. Nice to see you again after WonderCon.
I love that hat very much.
Thank you. Straight from D23.
Very, very cool. All right.
Yeah. Who wants to start out? Okay, so you premiered the first episode at the panel, and we got to see Lotor in action for the first time, and he actually had, women in his crew helping out, and I was wondering, he used to have a harem in the original series. Is this kind of a nod and turning that on its head?
In Beast King, no line.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't, but I like that, so I might just use that.
Might have been a subconscious thing.
Maybe. I think, we were just really kind of looking for ways to make Lotor different, and we really hadn't had a lot of female Galra in the first season, and we'd originally started with this idea that, Lotor was going to have, many ranks of female Galra, but we ended up whittling it down to, these, key 4 women that were just, his main go-tos, and we just want to make them as cool, interesting as possible, and just, really make that, comparison or contrast between Lotor and Zarkon as stark as possible.
Yeah. I think we had initially talked about, alright, Zarkon was a no woman policy, and then Lotor, but then that got a little too weird.
We didn't go full on. There are other female ones.
There are, for official, just so you guys know.
Well, we can go so in the premiere, I was actually looking at the design and the animation and the flow of his hair. He reminds me a lot of Legolas, in a way.
Or does Legolas remind you a lot of Lotor?
That's true. So, I guess what's behind the thought process of the way that his character moves, at least in the fight scene?
That fight scene in particular was handled by Keegan Ryu, who is a master animator. And I think he goes above and beyond. There was a lot of moves that you could see Lotor doing where he was just barely getting out of the way of things, and even his hair got cut at one point. So I think those are all sort of little nuances that Ryu brought to that fight scene in particular. But
The overall is just the Galra Empire is all about force and about strength, and with them it's the bigger and the stronger you are, the better. And Lotor is very much not that. He's about intelligence and about just using that. Think about it before you do it. Don't just force your way into it. And so that fight was really kind of meant to be the visual representation of that.
Of his personality. Because even at the end, he said these almost noble things to the crowd, and then when he turns to Narti, you're like, alright, well, where's this guy coming from? Is he kind of petty? Is he just getting this guy out of the way? You don't really know where he's coming from. He's got a plan.
So tell us about the cat. And do we get to see a cat-mouse fight ever?
We'll see,
that would
versus,
be, I think that would be my dream come true, would be to have, the space mice versus the space cat. But, it was kind of our little nod to the cat from the original. We originally belonged to Hagar. Hagar doesn't have a cat, so we're like, we can bring this cat in with this really unique character, who has this this tie to this animal that she has, and it was kind of a cool thing. It was what can we do to make these alien races different? Here's an alien race that bonds with an animal. What animal? How about this cat from the original that we can Easter egg in here?
Yeah, and it's it's kind of through Lotor, so it's not directly Hagar, but it's sort of through another Galra with cool flowing white hair.
You were talking kind of how Lotor is very different, and he's going past police resistance and uses his mind a lot more and has a very different style. And we have Keith here, who's part, on this scale, and he's also got the same kind of fighting style. Are we going to see Lotor kind of trying to pull people away? And obviously in the original, he was very fixated on Allura. Right. Are we going to see him kind of trying to pull them away via using the mind more than the force that had been used in the previous season?
I think if ever there was a character, Lotor's the guy to use the psychology of the paladins against each other. And Keith is, I'd say right now, sort of in the polar opposite territory as Lotor. Lotor's methodical, and Keith right now is running purely on emotion.
But I think it's safe to say that we will see Lotor using more more of his intelligence, like reaching out more, having a little more vocal interaction versus just Zarkon like going, like I'm not even gonna talk to you, I'm just gonna kill you, sort of thing.
There will be cool interactions.
Yes.
So in Voltron Legendary Defender, family has always been an integral part of the story, part of the plot.
Yeah.
Will we get to see how Lotor views his father, Zarkon?
I think that's it's a pretty important element to his character. I think you can't be the prince and sort of been out of the picture without, necessarily having some emotions tied with that. Yeah.
Because they did mention that he was exiled.
He was.
Earlier in the episode.
All that stuff plays into his character, where he comes from, his relatability even to the viewers. It's all tied in there.
So we got a little bit of a peek of some backstory in the sneak preview of the old paladins, Zarkon and Alfor and 3 other unknown paladins. How much backstory are we going to get of them and going into the new paladins like in the new season?
We definitely, you saw the imagery. You'll see backstory stuff. Exactly how much we won't. We don't want to give that away. But we were super excited, I think, to be able to tell the story, and then also when we came to the decision to show it here at the con, we knew, it's either people are going to go like, what was going on, and be a little confused, or immediately get it and see the correlation between the old paladins and the new ones. So
we're just excited.
We're just super excited.
Shed a little bit of light on that. We've known Zarkon, we've kind of known Alfor. The other 3 have always been like kind of obscure.
And this is really the part of the story that I think we have been able to take almost the most liberties with in creating that backstory and that lore that wasn't necessarily there with the originals. It's super fun.
Now I know previously you said that kind of season 1 and season 2 were basically one giant story that had been broken up. Is season 3 kind of season 3 and season 4 possibly going to be the same situation, or is season 3 kind of more?
I think it's kind of like the kickoff of Lotor's story, and Lotor, he won't end at the end of this season. We'll see a bit more of him as we go into the next season. So. I think it's safe to say this is us ramping into his arc.
Yeah, and these these smaller drops, they are specifically done to not make people feel like they're being left with months and months and months without the show, but also I think it allows us to sort of give these little doses of these characters, but we didn't have the plan to do like 7 episodes and then stop that. That was done after the fact. So it's a big serialized story.
So the story's also gone into this point where it's kind of shifting the viewer's perspective. Like, we know that the paladins are the heroes, and there are a couple of things that haven't been addressed so much, such as the Caraveras mission in the very beginning. Like, what were they even doing on the moon? So that's probably going to come into.
They were getting ice samples. They were just checking for signs of life.
Just ice samples.
Yeah.
But going back to that and how they were captured originally, how did the Galra know of where they were? Like, why pick out those 3 specifically?
It's pretty safe to say that the Galra were actively searching for Alliance of Voltron. I think Sam and Shiro and Matt were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, I'd love to tell you that the ice sample had some minute traces of. They were literally just digging for ice.
Completely clueless.
I think what we were really trying to upsell there was that Earth was in a place where they hadn't had any contact with alien life yet. They were advanced. It's the future.
They were advanced enough to get out to Pluto, but that was it. That was the farthest they'd gone, and they'd gone there the fastest they'd ever gone there. And so they were like, we're making leaps and strides, but they're nowhere near the prowess of the Galra, and most certainly not the Altaeans.
Right. Sorry if we killed the potential
No, there's so much more in the
show. So what has been your favorite alien race of the series, or have we seen your favorite yet?
Oh, I think it's safe to say that mine might be the mermaids. But we had a few that I'm really fond of. There's quite a number at the mall. that there's one that we like to call the Channing Tatum alien at the mall.
Have you seen him? He's got like a baseball hat on.
He's got a baseball hat backwards. He's got like, he's got
like two mouths.
He's got two mouths, and he's just big and buff, and he's purple. I don't know, but he just looks so happy. We're like, he looks like Channing Tatum.
It looks like a happy Channing Tatum because he's like a fit dude.
He's just funny.
There's a cool cowboy alien there too.
Yeah.
I mean, technically the Blade of Marmora are Galra, but I'm super into Space Ninjas. Like, can't really go wrong. The fact that I think we added some depth to the Galra and made a faction within the ranks, you know, fighting for good. That's pretty cool. Are we good?
I think he said we have
one more.
I think he's coming over to get us.
All right.
We're done. All right. Guys,
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for these.
Yeah.
Look at that.